Hi, my name is Emily Maurer, and I am reviewing the guidelines for international internships abroad in international education. When we look at the number of students around the world studying abroad, we see a trend only increasing into the future. Pre-pandemic, the statistics show U.S. students studying abroad in increasing numbers each year, with a growth of 2.7% over the previous year in 2017-2018. For those who participated in work, internship, volunteering, and research abroad, anywhere between 38,000 to 50,000 are said to have participated in that engagement in 2018 to 2019. Here are the figures over the 10 years pre-pandemic according to IIE's Open Doors. So in 2018, the first edition of the guidelines of the Forum on Education Abroad's Guidelines for Internships Abroad appeared. The Forum on Education Abroad historically is one of the leading professional organizations in the field of U.S.-based education abroad, and to ensure that international education organizations follow the highest standards of good practice in education abroad, the Forum on Education Abroad publishes a series of handbooks, guidelines, and sets up review processes and panels for program evaluation, ongoing compliance, and the evaluation of policy and procedures for the industry of education abroad. The publication on the guidelines of internships abroad is released every so often biannually, with the first edition released in 2018 and the third edition released in 2022. So, in 2022, the newest third edition of the guidelines of the Forum on Education Abroad's Guidelines for Internships Abroad was published. The first edition is divided into 5 sections and focuses on these best practices, which can ensure quality experience and contribute to the success of international internship programs. In comparison with the third edition, newest of the Forum on Education Abroad's Guidelines for Internships Abroad, however, there are several changes and updates, additions and omissions to note, as well as differences to contend with. A new consideration regarding the review of student physical and mental health information or accommodations is noted in the new guidelines. Also included in the practice was the assistance of students in compliance with public health local laws, practices, and requirements regarding vaccines, quarantines, self-isolation, social and physical distancing, and the use of PPE. This new guidance was a result of COVID-19 pandemic, which only expanded practices to ensure safe and updated work environments for the students. And this was mostly attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic. Globalization also impacted the third edition of the guidelines. A code of conduct for online behavior was considered, including cyberbullying and offensive language and conduct through culturally sensitive lenses. Another issue to contend with was with the new guidelines regarding information practices. Privacy issues was to be clear and conform with applicable laws such as the GDPR and FERPA, cell phone data and contract tracing. More social media practices were also under scrutiny. Visual images and social media should be appropriate and relevant. Finally, guiding principles suggested that students should be ready with the tools to be successful not only in-person internships, but also remote internships. In the new guidelines, when speaking about student learning and development, there are 3 sections dividing up the practices that should be done before, during, after the program. The after-program guidelines in the new editions were all new suggestions, fully developed and fleshed out, and focused on what the stakeholders to do post-program to expand upon the work of future iterations of the program. The main purpose of these guidelines was to see how much the world ready we can get these students at when they are doing international internships. In conclusion, what do you think about the experience? Do you think that these guidelines can help create globally competent citizens for the world? Do you think that these guidelines are thinking of international internships in the way of the future? Thank you for your attention to my presentation.